thesauruses, encyclopedias, my textbooks. Tears would run down my face. I was so frustrated with this language, with so many multiple meanings of a single word, but I was determined to learn it. Well, one day, my hard work paid off. I found myself in my English class, and I always sat in the back trying to hide. And my English teacher asked if someone would volunteer to summarize a short story we had for homework. I definitely wasn't planning on volunteering anything in front of all those kids. But all of a sudden, this voice broke out of me, and I started speaking with really thick Bosnian accent. That was my pitiful attempt at doing the accent for you. In fact, now I have to even practice that because I lost it. But believe me, take my word for it, I butchered up nearly every other word, and my accent was thick, so I did my best. And all the kids in the front rows, they turned toward the back row, towards me, with their mouths wide open, going like, "Wow, she speaks." From that moment on, they haven't been able to shut me up. I started speaking, and I thought, this is what I can do. I'm the same girl who called the national radio station at 12. I'm meant to talk. I love to express myself. I just have to do it in English this time. So I started with my English class. They all had so many questions about my family, about the war, and we all sort of put our chairs in a circle one day, and they took turns. All the students took turns asking me questions. And I must say, that day I cried more than I spoke. The experience was far too raw. My family was still in the war-torn Bosnia. But then I went to all my other classes, and then I braved my entire school of 2,000 students. That was such a scary yet exhilarating experience, and I found myself more alive than ever, because even though I was reliving the experience that was such a traumatic experience of 3.5 years, I was also doing hopefully something positive, because I was sharing the lessons, the things that I've learned because of that negative experience with people who hopefully would never have to go through a war. Then I went to other schools, churches, synagogues, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, conferences, leadership academies, and I really fell in love with public speaking. That's what originally brought me to Canada. I came as a public speaker for a non-profit organization called Free the Children, and I traveled all across Canada and the US, and it was amazing to be talking to so many young people and to tell them all the stories as well as the lessons that I've learned. I want to tell you about one specific incident. It happened to me in the 6th grade class. They're the very youngest people I ever speak to because they're the very age that I was at when the war began. So afterwards, we had a Q&A, question and answer period, and this little girl, she raised her hand and said, "Nadja, who won?" I was dumbfounded. No one had ever asked me that question. Who won? I said to her, "You know what? No one did. Everyone lost. Because someone lost their mother, their father, their arm, their leg, their childhood. Everyone loses every time there is a war anywhere because war is not a board game or a video game you play." But the little girl, she was still unsatisfied, so she raised her hand again and said, "But Nadja, who really won?" And at that time, tears filled my eyes. I just didn't know what to tell this little girl. So I bowed my head towards the ground, and I thought for a while. Thought about my mom going to work every day, risking her life so that she would feel alive. Thought about my dad going to get us water and food despite the bombings, despite the danger. Thought about my brother bringing me that orange and feeding our neighborhood. Thought about all the stories and all the people that no speech is long enough to share with you that, but all the people that came together as one human family, regardless of their religious or ethnic differences. So I raised my head again. I smiled at this little girl and I said, "You know what? We did. We won. The people who have gone through this bloody, horrible war, but who emerged from it even stronger. And most importantly, more embracing of every single person in this world." So that's why I feel a winner today. I'm not just a survivor of some war in the 1990s in Europe. I feel a winner because I choose not to hate. I realize that by keeping hatred or keeping a seed of revenge in my heart, I'm only perpetuating violence in the world. And someday, I do hope that generations to come won't see such intolerance, won't see such hatred. And in order for that to even have a chance, it has to start with each one of us. Now, the experience of the war was scarring, that's for sure. But I also think that it made me realize that our humanity, our human spirit, is what is common amongst us. And our diversity, our differences in religion and ethnicities and colors of our skin, they're the best part about our world, and we have to embrace them. We have to celebrate them, not merely tolerate them. Now, I know each one of you has a story. Each one of us has a tunnel to go through, or several tunnels in our lifetime. And I'm so grateful that you gave me space and time to share my story. But I know that you don't have to be a victim of war to experience intolerance, to experience darkness, to face challenges. In those dark times, I hope you will remember my mom's words that got me through my tunnel. Remember your dreams, and you keep walking. Thank you very much for being such a great audience.